I'm on mute. Whenever you're ready, we're live.
Thank you. Okay, good morning, everybody. This is Monday, 14th of September 2020. Welcome to this regulatory subcommittee for a tables and chairs licence. First of all, we'll start with apologies and declarations of interest.
I've had no apologies, Chair.
Okay, declarations of interest. I can see no one's indicating. Okay, and then we'll come on to the main item, which is Highways Act 1980 application for the licence to place tables and chairs on the highway for the Louis Marchese, 17 Tombland, Norwich. Okay, my name is Ian Stewley. I'm the chair for this meeting, and we have four other members of the committee. Councillor Laura McCartney-Gray, Councillor Adam Giles, Councillor Nanette Youssef, and Councillor Julie Brochek-Colton. We have Alex Hand, who is our committee officer, and Tiffany Bentley, who is from the licensing team. We also have a couple of other members who are looking after the technology today. And we also have the applicant, Lisa Atkins. Lisa, can you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, I'm Lisa Atkins. I'm the landlady of the Louis Marchese on Tombland.
Okay, thank you very much. Now I'll hand over to Tiffany for the report, please.
Hey, thank you. So the purpose of the meeting today is to ask members to consider the application to place tables and chairs on the highway. Section 115E of the Highways Act 1980 provides for a council to grant a person permission to use objects or structures on certain categories of highway for a purpose which will result in the production of income. The Act also provides for a council to attach such conditions as they think fit to a permission granted under Section 115E. The council has adopted standard conditions in respect of permissions to use objects or structures on the highway, and these are attached as Appendix A to the report. The Act gives councils a wide discretion to determine such applications and to impose conditions. Each case must be considered on its own merits, with due weight being given to relevant considerations only. Existing policies or guidelines should not be applied so rigidly that an exercise of discretion in each individual case is precluded. Accordingly, the adopted standard conditions could be added to or amended depending on the circumstances of each individual application. The application. This application has been submitted in respect of the Louis Marchese, 17 Tombland, Norwich, seeking to place 15 tables and 60 chairs on the highway between the hours of 11 AM and 10 PM Sunday, 5 PM to 10 PM Monday, and midday to 10 PM Tuesday to Saturday. The original application was for more tables and chairs, but that was amended due to the social distancing requirements. A copy of the application, accompanying photographs and location plans are attached Appendix B to the report. In accordance with the Act, appropriate notices have been placed on the street. Notification of the application has also been given to Chatterbox, which is the talking newspaper for the visually impaired, and the Norwich Access Group. Details of the application have also been forwarded to Norfolk Constabulary, Norfolk Fire, and the City Council's Planning, Transportation and Landscape, Health and Safety, Pollution Control sections for comment. That's a slightly old wording because within that we have also had the consultation, so that the highways function is no longer under that transportation part of the City Council. It is moved across as a separate function to Norfolk County Council Highways. Representations have been received in respect of the application from the following and are attached as Appendix C to the report. Landpro, which is representing the residents, Mr. N. Stanage, Ms. S. Moss, Ms. S. Hyde, Ms. E. Bidwell, and Mr. P. Wells of Stanton and Hercules Building. Megan Riley, who is a Pig Lane resident. Natalie Beale, Jessica Hoskins. So those are attached, and then the Food and Safety Team, Norfolk Constabulary, Planning and Traffic Management had raised no objections. And that concludes the report. Sorry, it's a bit quicker than I thought. That concludes the report.
Okay, thank you very much, Tiffany, and welcome again, Lisa. We've got a couple of questions for you, or a number of questions, but first of all, there has been a legal question that's been raised about the Highways Act, and I'd like to introduce David Lowens, who is our legal representative, who will describe that and ask you the relevant questions, please.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, everyone. Yes, the Highways Act is the statute that governs how the council can behave today. There is a bit of that act that says that the council needs the consent of frontagers, i.e. people who live next door to the site you want. And have you seen the report, Lisa?
Yes, I have. Yes.
Lovely.
And
Do you have that with you?
yes, I do. Yeah.
So you'll see that I think it's headed Lampro are saying that some of the people living in those flats at Samson and Hercules object to this application.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
My view is that means the council cannot give you a license to place tables and chairs on that frontage.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, since the application, which was quite a long while ago now, there isn't actually anywhere out there now that we can put the tables and chairs realistically on that part of the highway, because Tombland is now being completely refurbished. So that part of the actual land that I applied for outside the Samson Hercules is now a temporary bus stop for going, I don't know how long, but for the foreseeable future anyway, because Tombland's all being dug up. So
in the circumstances, that might be useful. Am I right in thinking then your application, and it's your application, is amended to just cover your frontage? Would that be fair?
Yeah, and that was my main reason. I was actually going to cancel the application, but my main reason for not cancelling it was because when they started to do this work in Tombland, that realistically the only place that we could have tables now is outside our frontage, and we did have some tables out there before, which we were allowed to have 4 tables out there, and that would be the only way that we could have the tables, would be for the 4 tables and chairs that we had before, because like I say, there literally is no space or anything on the land that I applied for anyway.
Do you remember how many chairs you had with the 4 tables?
I think I had 8 chairs. I think they were 4 tables of 2.
So if it's fair then, is it fair to say your application is amended to 4 tables max, 8 chairs max, and just the frontage of your premises?
Yes.
On the side, obviously, nearest your premises?
Yeah.
Thanks very much. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, councillors.
Okay, thank you. So on that basis, the change requires a different set of questions. First of all, I'll look to members. Do you have any questions on this, please? Councillor Youssef.
Thank you. I had a slight concern regarding the current social distancing measures taking place inside the pub. I was wondering if you could detail to me exactly what you're doing at the moment to impose social distancing.
We don't, as at the doorway, there's a sign. So when people come in, they have to be greeted, and then we could do the track and trace. And then we've cut all our tables down now. So we've got inside 7 tables downstairs. They're either 2s, 4s, and 1 is a 6. Nobody is allowed at the bar, only to come to the bar to pay or to order a drink if nobody else is there. Other than that, everybody has to be seated at all times. We do have other exits, but we decided not to have an entrance and an exit because they are quite. One of them has got quite high stairs up to it, and the other one would enable people to get into the building without us actually being able to monitor them. So people do go in and out of the same entrance.
Thank you. The reason I was asking this question is because I was in the premises the other day and I wasn't greeted at the door. There was no track and trace. And as far as I can see, everyone was going up to the bar to order and pay for the drinks. Would you care to respond to that?
Well, I've got the sign here that is actually always at the door, and I've got all the track and trace. So I probably wasn't here at the time, but as far as I'm aware, even when I'm not here, that we are following those procedures. That, you know, there is a sign at the door. If I had my camera, I could show you it, but it just says, we are open, please wait to be seated. And I've got all the track and trace papers that we've had with everybody's numbers on, which we're keeping. So if I wasn't here, I'm unfortunately, I can't actually respond to that. But as far as I'm aware, we are track and trace and having people seated at the bar, seated, not at the bar.
Okay, thank you for that. Maybe just some staff retraining on that one. Going back to the application itself and the frontage, how wide is the pavement directly outside your frontage?
I think from memory, I think it's 5.9 meters.
And is that its maximum, or is it even across the front?
No, that's, oh, sorry, the frontage from the building to the actual curb, do you mean, or the actual length of it? To the curb. To the curb, yeah. I think it was 2.8 meters, I think.
2.8, yeah. And what is the proposed width of the tables and chairs area?
So that would be the width of it, was the width of our frontage was 5.9. I'll just get my diagram.
What was 2.8 meters? I missed that.
That's the projection outwards to the curb.
So what's 5.9 then?
That's the width from side to side, from left to right.
Oh, okay, I'm with you.
Length.
Yes, I suppose it is length.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, the length.
Thanks, David.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Miss Atkins, have you returned?
Yes, I have. Sorry, yeah.
Okay, it might be helpful actually, because the printout of the plans that we've got is quite small. So if you could give us some of the measurements from that, that would be handy. So can you confirm those two previous measurements?
So yeah, so the pub front is 5.48 meters.
Yeah.
And and from the door to the edge of the pavement is 4.3, sorry.
4.3. Okay, and what is the proposed projection of the seated area outwards from the pub?
So the tables are 0.87 square.
Okay, so that's the width of the tables. Do you have a designated area within those in which those tables will sit? Is there a projection on the map?
Yeah, there is. But I think looking at it, we did have 4 tables before, but with the social distancing, I think that we could probably safely, only looking at this, probably the way I've drawn it with the social distancing is only have 3 tables on that frontage.
Okay. Can I think actually, sorry, Tiffany would like to speak, and then I'll come back to it. Thank you.
Just going to say that this particular provision is a permanent one. So it's so difficult to say, isn't it? But obviously, that in normal non-pandemic circumstances, it would have been the kind of maximum ability of getting in the physical space to have those tables and chairs. It would still be a requirement for the pub to comply with social distancing. So you could almost give the permission for the maximum in normal circumstances, and then they would need to ensure that they are complying with the social distancing requirements by having less tables. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you, Tiffany. I was going to suggest the same thing.
Okay.
This application, you can have an application for the maximum number of tables and chairs, and then obviously comply with social distancing until such a time as that is removed as a requirement. Okay, so Councillor Brochek Colton, did you have any questions? You're muted.
Oh, yeah, I know, I'm not now. I was just concerned about people in wheelchairs trying to get past on that the small point outside the pub. I don't know with the tables and chairs because of the plans and everything. I can't really visualise whether there'll be enough space for people in wheelchairs, pushchairs, anything really to go past that point. That's all I was worried about.
The space where there is the smallest area of pavement won't have tables on anyway. So that's the first part. I know where you mean. By Wagon and Horses Lane, there's quite a small area that goes up, but there won't be any there anyway. So that will give people the access.
Okay, thank you. So
Okay,
looking at the diagram, you have the tables as you're looking at the pub frontage. You have the tables to the left of the doorway. Is that how you wish to proceed?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so to the right of the doorway, there'll be no tables because the pathway narrows there. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And will you be having barriers around the tables?
Yes, if they're required, I would think that. I think yes, you could put barriers out there, definitely. But during the week, there are lots of people coming backwards and forwards from the Samson and Hercules, and where they're doing a lot of the road works, and they're also having works at the Samson and Hercules as well. I would think that we could definitely put barriers out there, but during the weekdays, they might actually get in people's way and be more of a nuisance than what they would be, a help.
Okay, from an access point of view, especially people with visual impairments, the barriers do provide some assistance. David, the plan that we've got does appear to indicate some kind of barriers.
It's a standard condition, Chair. You've got the main reason for it. It is required so that those with limited visual acuity can see a problem before they collide with the table or the chair. I mean, that's the reason for it. Secondly, it also demarcates the area licensed, if any area is. I mean, it's not a permission for X tables, X chairs. It's permission for those number of tables and chairs on a set area. And that area needs defining and making clear on site.
Okay, and for the purpose of this application, we need to establish what that set area is.
Yes, Chair, I think you asked for the distance intended between the frontage and on the way to the highway. You got the answer as to the width of the table, but I don't think you got an answer on the width of the frontage.
I haven't yet, no. This is the projection outwards from the pub to the edge of where the barrier will be. Could you answer that for us, please, Ms. Atkins?
Yes, so that was 1.5 metres is what I'd projected on this.
Okay, and that's all the way across from the doorway out to the edge of your building.
Yeah, so and that was where I would put the barrier, would be 1.5 meters around it, so that with the tables inside, is what I'd predicted on the drawing. That was obviously before I knew about the roadworks and everything outside, but that would be where I would put the barriers.
Okay, and is that still practical?
Yeah, that is still practical, yeah.
Okay, thank you. So that would leave approximately 2.8 meters for the remaining highway for pedestrians to walk past, which I believe is sufficient. Councillor Giles, you had a question, please. You're currently muted.
Hello? Yeah, sorry about that. Yes, I was going to ask if there's still a plan for a litter bin and any planters.
Yes, I'd definitely put a bin out there, and the planters that I had put down that there would be 3 planters and then the barriers, so, and a bin as well, so in that area. So yes, I would put the planters there if I was allowed to. If not, I would just put the barriers.
The original plan says 13 planters. So what would be the figure you're putting in now?
So it would be 3.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. David, with planters and other items like bins, they clearly they have to be within the area designated, so within the barrier. Presumably, an applicant with social distancing can opt to not have those planters and other items while social distancing is in place in order to create the space necessary.
Yes, Chair, it's permission, but not an obligation to place them.
Yeah.
If you say yes.
Thank you for that. Any other questions?
Chair, just a practical point. The applicants mentioned the narrow end being the wagon and horses lane end, but looking at the, as it were, overhead that the councils have showing the bend in the frontage, it does look like a narrow end is also joining the Samson and Hercules, taking account of the traffic lay-by, for want of a better phrase.
Yes, okay. So do we have different measurements there?
I just need to be flagging that with the applicant so they're aware that they're going to need to take that into account. They can't sensibly say people will be walking into an area set aside for vehicles.
Okay, yes. So that actually does look quite different to the map that we've received separately. So we probably do need to establish what that width is between the corner of the pub and the Samson and Hercules house, and the projection out to that area for vehicles. Is that what you're saying, David?
It is, Chair. The applicant needs to be sure, you need to be sure. If the maximum is 2.8 outside the, sorry, it's for the applicant to say what their maximum is. That's the location is clear on your plan, and you can work out from that, if that's the maximum, what the probable distance is at that corner between the public house and the Samson and Hercules.
Okay, can we establish what the minimum requirement is, please?
I think you mentioned 2.8.
2.8 is what we apparently have left. Tiffany, can you tell us what the minimum requirement would be for width?
It's 1.5 is the mobility guidance is the requirement for passing the wheelchair, that sort of thing. So yeah, 1.5 is the minimum.
Okay. We have not received any objections from highways on this. So would it be fair, David, to assume that those measurements have been carried out?
It's really difficult to know whether your lack of response was due to someone thinking about it carefully or not having enough time to think about it carefully. But I think you will have to move on the basis there is no objection from highways.
Yeah.
Internal.
Okay. Okay. So going back to you, Miss Atkins, do you have measurements for the distance between the pub and that corner section of the area that's marked out for highways.
So
Or
from
traffic.
my calculation, it's 3.2 meters.
Okay, that would provide adequate space, but only just. Okay, any other questions? Right, okay. Lisa Atkins, is there anything else you'd like to say or tell us before we move on to our determination, please?
No, I think we've covered everything really. There's not really much else that I can say to sort of convince you it's right or wrong. So I'll just let you make your decision.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah,
in that
just
case,
a
yes,
final technical point.
Yep.
Doesn't affect the applicant. As you know, the Highways Agency is with the county rather than with yourselves now.
yes.
And the consent of the Highways Agency is needed. I think your officers have written to the county and not received a response. So that could mean the county are happy, or it could again mean they're snowed under and have failed to think about it. So the only proviso is, if you're minded to grant a licence, I'd suggest an additional condition that if the County Council Highway Authority turn out to be unhappy, the licence will fall.
Okay, thank you for that. That seems sensible. Right, what we'll do now is we'll pause the live stream, and members of the committee, along with David, will determine the application, and we'll be back shortly to grant that or otherwise. So we'll see you in around about 20 minutes.
Well, do I hang on? Do I hold on to the line, or do I just?
You'll
call back
be.
in?
We'll put you in the waiting room, Lisa. So if you just hang on as you are, and then if you can hold on, and then we'll call you back in when we're finished.
Okay,
that
all
will
right. No
save you
problem.
having to log back in again. Okay,
All right,
so
yeah.
we'll see you shortly.
Okay.
Thank you for waiting.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'll confirm when the live stream's down. Yeah. Yeah, we're down. Oh, they have to go to the other meeting. Oh, I don't think I can hear them now. Hello?
Yeah, I'm
Hi.
still here.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Sorry, you need to move into your other meeting now.
Yeah.
Have you,
Right.
okay?
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I've got the code for the other meeting. I think I've just been sent one code.
It's the same as it was on Friday, David.
Right.
I will resend it round now, just so you've got
Okay,
it.
appreciate
Yeah?
that.
No, not at all.
All right. So come out and go in again. A different one. Oh, this is confusing. Leave.
Okay, no, everyone needs to leave this one and go back in the other one. Start the new one. I'll leave. audio. Okay, John, just check.
Hello, do we have everybody?
No, Laura's waiting to come in, she said.
Okay.
No, Laura's in. Are you happy to have the applicant in, Chair?
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
That's a lot of wires.
Okay, just can we confirm that we're live? Okay, thank you. Okay, welcome back everybody to the Regulatory Subcommittee. 14th September 2020. We're determining today the application for a tables and chairs licence on the highway for Louis Marchese 17 Tombland. Welcome back everybody. I'm just checking that we have everybody with us, and we do. Okay, so we've reached a determination, and that is a unanimous decision to grant the licence as amended. And I'll hand over to David to describe the details to us, please. There's an additional condition that we've attached to this, and David will describe it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. So just to confirm, this is permission to put a maximum of 4 tables, a maximum of 8 chairs, a maximum of 3 planters, 1 litter bin, and barriers outside that part of the highway that lies between the doorway of number 17 Tombland and the boundary with the Samson and Hercules. That's the length, and the width is a maximum of 1.5 meters. So that is the area licensed and the items licensed. It's obviously not obligatory to put out that number of things, especially with social distancing. Standard conditions, including an additional condition as mentioned by the Chair, that is that this licence will exist during the consent of the Highways Authority. If the Highway Authority withdraws its consent, this licence will fall. Chair, unless there's anything else.
Okay, thank you very much for that, David. Lisa Atkins, can you just confirm that you heard that and that you understood that, or ask us any questions, please?
Yeah, no, thank you. I did hear that, and I totally understood exactly what he said. So I've got no other questions. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, so this this particular license gives you some flexibility with what you put outside, and obviously you will have to meet the obligations of the health and safety for your insurance purposes, and also the social distancing, all while that it exists. So if there are no further questions or comments from anybody present, I'll conclude this meeting and thank everybody for attending.
Thank you very much for granting that for us. Thank you.
Okay, all the best. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.